Hey guys, Bipolar Barbie here, and today I wanted to talk about a question that I get asked a lot, which is I'm trying to help someone with a mental illness, but they don't want to get help. How can I help them? And I think this is an accusation as well that's thrown around a lot, like they don't want to get help. I've never met anyone that kind of doesn't want to get help for their mental illness. I think a lot of people want to get help, they just don't know how. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, we're really good at identifying what's wrong. We're really good at identifying the what, but we're not necessarily good at identifying the how and the why, which is the most important. Now, when I was really suffering with drug and alcohol abuse, a lot of people knew about my drug and alcohol abuse. And they would tell me, you need to stop using drugs and alcohol. Well, yeah, duh, like I do. And they, accused me of not wanting to stop. You know what? I wanted to stop. But not one person asked me why I was doing it in the first place. And the why was the most important part of the equation. Because I was self-medicating. I was doing it because I was in such a bad mental state, I just couldn't live anymore. And the only way I could keep myself alive was by just escaping, using drugs and alcohol to do that. And if someone had asked me why I was doing this, I would have explained that to them. And then they might have been able to problem solve the actual issue, which wasn't the drug and alcohol abuse like people thought. It was the reason that I was doing it in the first place. Because I was in a bad mental state, I couldn't get help, and there was many reasons for that. And they could have been able to problem solve some of those reasons. I guess, first of all, as well, you're not going to cry for help if you don't think help is available. And when I first started this journey, I didn't know where to get help. It wasn't something that was like a list of like, oh, this is where you go, when you need help. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know that people could help me. And even when I did, there's a fly. And I didn't know like where to turn to for help. So when I reached out to people, that's really what I was looking for. Was, okay, guys, I have this issue. I'm not okay. What do I do about it? Like, where do I go? So I think understanding why someone might be reluctant to seek help is really, really important. Figure out the how, I think, would be your first step. So if you know someone that's struggling and they're not doing anything about it, definitely have a conversation to them about it. Ask them why, and maybe explain to them how. Do some research and go, okay, well, first of all, maybe we need to go and see a GP. Maybe there's plenty of organization, there's plenty of groups. If you do that research, then you can present them and go, okay, well, these are the places that you might be able to get help. We can try them out. And getting help is a really hard process because some places simply just won't help you, which is really, really sad. For me, getting help was, it didn't happen the first time. I had to try it about 100 times before anyone actually helped me. And not many people would go through that process. I don't think you understand how difficult it is, how disheartening it is when you are rejected by a medical professional, when you reach out for help, when people, whether they be professionals or in your own life, that reject you and shut you down. That is really, really hard to get over. It's really hard to overcome that and reach out just one more time. I kept telling myself, just one more time, just one more time. I mean, you have no idea how many one more times I had. It was ridiculous. So I think once you've, given a list or done some research and communicated to them that help is available. It's really sad when people don't think there is help available, or one, they don't think their problems are significant enough to warrant getting help, that they as a person are not significant enough. And when you have low self-esteem, when you are like severely depressed, that is going to be a really hard concept for you. You don't think you're worthy of being helped. So telling them, you know what, you are worthy of being helped. There is help out there. And going, all right, let's find some help. Once you have done that, I mean, there are plenty of other reasons. Once I found out where I could get help, there was some, roadblocks that came in my way. One of them was finances, which was really difficult. Getting help is very expensive. The second one was the availability of appointments or the availability of professionals in my area. I might not have been able to get an appointment for 3 to 6 months. That's that's pretty shit. So maybe even problem solving those two things. The other thing is, when I was so bad and I was so depressed, I couldn't leave my house, I couldn't get myself to those appointments. Even when I lost my license, it was really hard for me to get to those appointments. So what would have been a great help there, what prevented me from getting help no matter how much I wanted to, was finances, the availability of appointments, and getting myself there. And if someone had asked that why, okay, why are you not getting help? They could have problem solved that. You know, they could have picked me up at my house and taken me to an appointment. They could have made an appointment for me, because at the time talking on the phone was so hard for me, I didn't do it. And even my phone got cut off. So I didn't have a method of making these appointments. And that would have been a great help. That would have allowed me to get the help that I desperately wanted. But the fact that I wasn't getting it didn't mean that I didn't want it. And I think the third and most, or not the third, but like the last and most important issue that we need to understand is that people are scared. People are scared to get help. I was so terrified, you know, about going into hospital. I was so terrified. And when I went in there, it was a relief. I was like, oh my God, why have I been avoiding this for so many years? This is great. So being scared to get help is really a big issue. You know, and that's where if you ask that why, if you understood that, you might be able to then go, okay, well, if I know why, then let's work on the how. You know, if I make the appointment for you, why don't I pick you up, take you there? Do you want me to be in there? Do you want me to hold your hand? Do you need me to talk you through this? Do you need me to be present? Reassure them that getting help, you know, isn't scary, because it's scary at first. But I mean, once you get it, you're kind of like, wow, it's not scary, you know, once you've been there. But you don't know that in the beginning, because there's a huge stigma around mental health. So those are my thoughts. Think about that. If you know someone that's struggling with mental health issues and you don't feel like they're getting help, those are some of the reasons they might be resistant to help. It might not be that they don't want to, but it's just they can't, I guess. So think about that. Let me know your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and want more people to see it. Feel free to share and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks, guys.